So there were people saying that they believed that the hanging suicide of Theo Epstein, while he was on suicide watch at the MCC, the Metropolitan Correction Center, was some kind of, setup. Like there was some kind of, foolishness involved. And guess what? It seems like the FBI and a U.S. attorney think so also. Me and the Notification Gang would like to invite everybody to come join us Monday through Thursday, 9:20 to 10 o'clock for morning coffee, where we discuss the events of the prior day and also just talk mess about stuff. See you then. BBN, Jack Frost. What's up, party people? So yeah. So apparently the guards in the prison, for Jeffrey Epstein, they're being charged. You got it. They are being charged. It says Epstein prison guards charged with falsifying records. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to say regarding this real quick before we actually get into the actual story. First of all, shout out to WPIX. Once again, I keep telling y'all, WPIX, in my opinion, covers the Bronx better than any other news station in New York City, with most likely the exception of Bronx 12 News. But, over the course of WPIX's history of me being alive, they've covered the Bronx the best. That's been the station I've watched the most. Anyway, so there's been a long-standing belief that Theo Epstein did not commit suicide. That it was actually a murder that got covered up in the jails. That there was a hit put out on him because people were saying, oh man, he would have been able to get this person caught up, and he would have been able to get that person caught up, and he was gonna snitch because he don't want to go to jail. He was facing a lot of time, so he was gonna work with the government. So anyway, in this WPIX article that I'm looking at, and it actually says it's from the CNN Wire and the WPIX web team. So there's a culmination of individuals that actually put this together. It was a group effort. It goes on to say 2 correctional officers on duty the night Jeffrey Epstein died in prison have been charged with falsifying records the days surrounding his death, according to the U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York. So they're saying the days surrounding his death. So I'm not 100% sure if they just mean that day and also the days after. Is it a chance that they could have also meant the days leading up to? I don't know, but they said surrounding and not the day of and the days preceding. So I don't know. Take it how you want. Anyway, it goes on to say, United States Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman, that's Jeffrey with a G, along with Department of Justice Special Agent Guido Modano, I'm not 100% sure. It's Guido Modano, and William Sweeney Jr., the Assistant Director of the New York branch of the FBI, announced the indictment charging federal corrections officers Tavo Noel and Michael Thomas. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to say that I find this particularly interesting. And that is, you got the United States Attorney, right? And you also have the Assistant Director of the New York branch of the FBI involved. It sounds to me like some people are really upset that their case got effed up. Anyway, the 2 guards are accused of making false records and conspiring to make false records to defraud the United States by impairing the lawful functions of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan, that's the MCC, where Epstein was being held. So I'm guessing that they have proof. They have proof that these individuals falsified records in order to prevent individuals from knowing something that hurt a case. I'm assuming, I can be wrong. According to the officials, Noel and Thompson surrendered Tuesday morning. Last week, it was reported that at least one federal prison worker on duty that night was offered a plea deal in connection with the death, and that the plea deal negotiations between the prosecutors and attorneys indicted forthcoming charges by the Department of Justice relating to Epstein's death. Now, we've had a lot of people that have been coming out saying that Epstein's death was not suicide. Now, I'm not saying that it still could have been suicide. It still could just have been these individuals decided to look the other way while he killed himself. That can still be the case. I'm not saying that that isn't the case. But what I am saying is that obviously there was some kind of, how do you say, malfeasance? No, that's not a good word for it. But there was some shenanigans going on. You know, whenever there's some weird stuff happening, shenanigans just works. So there was some shenanigans going on, because the argument has always been, didn't he have guards watching him? He was on suicide watch, for everybody that don't know. So he was supposed to be being watched all day. He was on suicide watch. Anyway, the charges, continuing, the charges come more than 3 months after Epstein was found dead at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. He was awaiting trial on federal charges accusing him of operating a sex trafficking ring from 2002 to 2005 at his Manhattan mansion and his Palm Beach estate, and allegedly paying girls as young as 14 for sex. He had pleaded not guilty to the charges. New York City's chief medical examiner ruled his August 10th death a suicide by hanging, though a former medical examiner hired by Epstein's legal team has disagreed with that conclusion. So there's two medical examiners. One is saying that it was suicide by hanging, and the other one is saying that they disagree with that conclusion. So I'm assuming that maybe they both see it as a hanging, but one person might see it as a suicide while one person might not. We're not 100% sure of this. I'm just giving my opinion on that particular excerpt. It goes on to say, of the two officers who were responsible for monitoring Epstein the night he died, one was not a detention guard, but temporarily reassigned to that post, according to a person briefed on the matter. The guard, a man not identified by officials, had previously been trained as a correctional officer, but had moved to another position. The second staff member on Epstein duty was a woman, fully trained as a guard, according to the person briefed on the matter. Both guards were working overtime shifts, but it's unclear whether that was mandatory. So I'm not sure if they're trying to allude to people sneaking off and having sex. I doubt that's what it is, but it kind of seems like they're trying to allude to that. Anyway, rules at the Federal Bureau of Prisons allow people who work in other prison jobs, such as teachers and cooks, to be trained to fill in for posts usually manned by regular guards. Epstein's suicide exposed what the prison's employee union has said are chronically overworked and short-staffed conditions at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, including forced overtime and officers reassigned to guard duty. In the wake of his death, Attorney General William Barr said there were serious irregularities at the prison and removed the acting head of the Bureau of Prisons. Okay, so also, if you want to follow the story, you could get an email. You could contact WPIX, and you'll be able to follow the story. So the point in which I'm trying to make about all of this, I guess not the point I'm trying to make, the point that it seems like they're trying to make is that everybody that has been screaming foul play, there's a chance that they could have been foul play. Matter of fact, there's an absolute certainty that foul play was there. What kind of foul play it was, we're not sure. But obviously, they had reassigned someone to help guard Epstein that wasn't even trained as a guard? Why was that person there? Somebody who was on suicide watch. Leave the comments down below. I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think this is more of a cover up? Do you think that it's somebody trying to uncover the cover up? And also, in addition to this, do you think that the two people just ran off to have sex? Do you think that that's what could have happened? They could have just said, for everybody that don't know, I'm about to tell you something. For everybody that don't know, correction officers, they usually have to sleep at the damn prison. Like, there's a lot of correction officers that they can't even go home to come back for the turnover because they're overworked. They're really overworked. Sometimes they go into the prison. They stay at the prison for days at a time. Because even when it's they off shift, they don't go home. They just go sleep in their car, or they go and they got rooms. Some places got rooms where you can just go and you can sleep for a couple of hours and then come back to work. So what do you guys think about that? And also, do you think that there should be some regulations put in, and should there be more guards hired? Because you can't be overworking people like this, especially in a high stress job like a prison. How you gonna work somebody in a prison and you got them, you know, working incredible overtime hours? You know, that's not fair. I've spoken to correction officers. I'm telling you right now. I know one specifically that was telling me about all the corruption that goes on in their prison. And besides the corruption that they spoke about, one of the main things that they said is how people are overworked. And them being overworked changes you. You know how much a person changes when you got to be up for 24 hours straight? Then you go get 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, and then you got to be up for another 16 hours? That changes a person. That changes who you are on a fundamental level. Anyway, leave the comments down below. I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all that I got on this one. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.